Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Huskers in Enemy Territory. Today I was going to talk about the Minnesota Vikings versus the Carolina Panthers, scheduled to be played on October 17th in Charlotte. A little bit of history. The Minnesota Vikings lead the short all-time series, 9 victories to 6 losses. On November 29th, 2020, the Vikings beat Carolina 28 to 27. And kind of at this point of the series, or even I guess not the series, but the season, I was kind of disinterested in the whole series or season, just because of how kind of the whole season was playing out. It was pretty much obvious at this point that the Vikings weren't going to be making the playoffs. I know it's kind of bad to say or whatever. You know, you should be supporting your team no matter what, even when they have a crappy season or whatever. But sometimes it just gets to me or whatever. Um, I don't know. Maybe it's just that because of my post traumatic stress or whatever, being in the military or whatever reason it might be. But it just really gets to me when my teams don't do well or whatever. And I think that's okay to say, you know. Um, I try to be completely honest when doing my videos and or when I'm talking sports on any of my social media accounts. I try and be as honest as possible, and I hope everyone kind of feels that I kind of look at everyone at an unbiased limelight, I guess. Even though I'm wearing a Minnesota Vikings shirt right now, kind of trying to critique the Minnesota Vikings versus the Carolina Panthers, but it is what it is. You're obviously going to have a little bit of bias, um, having a favorite team or whatever, but you know, so you know that's my rant, I guess. But let's see. But like in the end, I am glad that we won. Uh, Last win for the Panthers. Getting back to the script, as you may or whatever. Uh, Last win for the Panthers was in 2017, where they won 31 to 24. Which the current team is kind of totally different for the Panthers. Um, they have no Cam Newton, and a few of their key pieces from that team are not even on. I think Luke Kuechly was on that team in 2017. I don't think Greg Olson was with them still, but yeah, they've lost a lot of key players from that season, so it'll be a lot different from what they are now. They did pick up Sam Darnold as their quarterback, and I kind of noted that in here. The one thing I was going to bring up though, and I didn't write it down, is that this 31 to 24 loss. I wonder if that was kind of writing on the wall that we might not do too well against the Philadelphia Eagles. I know that you can't really, you know, look back on it or whatever, or maybe you can, but I wonder if this was kind of a sign that the Vikings weren't going to do very well versus the Philadelphia Eagles, looking back on it a little bit, but, it is what it is, I guess. Now to key additions for the Panthers. They picked up Sam Darnold from the Jets, quarterback. Cornerback AJ Boulier, I believe is how you say his name. Wide receiver DJ Moore, and also I kind of put it as an addition, returning from injury, Christian McCaffrey. Key losses: Teddy Bridgewater, safety Trey Boston, running back Mike Davis, wide receiver Curtis Samuel, and left tackle Russell Okung. If you're enjoying the content, consider giving a like on here. And also comment, how do you feel like this game will go? Will Sam Darnold and Christian McCaffrey be able to pull an upset against the Vikings, or do you think the Vikings will just roll against the Carolina Panthers? Um, and also, please consider a subscription or a sub. It helps the channel, and it's free, and it just helps my channel grow. Now, back to keys to the game. Keys for the Carolina victory: limit the Vikings running game. Try to stop Dalvin Cook and from gaining over 100 yards, and kind of try and limit his receiving ability. He usually averages, like 50 to 75 yards in the air as well. So that's one way to kind of stop the Vikings. Try to disrupt Kirk Cousins and limit the big playability of Justin Jefferson. Obviously, considering what Justin Jefferson did last year, it's going to be a tough road for the Carolina Panthers, but that's one thing that I could think of for them to try and do. Try to get Christian McCaffrey of old to run the ball all over the Vikings' newly formed defense. Some question marks are, I think it would be weak side linebacker. We're not sure what we're going to have there. Is it going to be Nick Vigil, or will it be Troy Dye? We have the right defensive end, kind of the defensive end by committee with Weatherly and DJ Wanham. And also, how is Xavier Rhodes going to play for us this upcoming season? And there's going to be a little bit of question mark at cornerback, I think, especially considering we brought in two new guys with Breland and Patrick Peterson. I know they're kind of proven in on other teams, but how are they going to mold with the Vikings? Now, two keys for the Vikings. Bring overwhelming pressure against Sam Darnold and kind of make him frustrated, especially being that he'll be in a brand new offense. I think it'll be easy to kind of get into his head. Shut down David Moore and DJ Moore, and the Vikings should come out victorious. I don't know if you're going to be able to really shut down Christian McCaffrey, but if you can limit the passing game for Sam Darnold and really limit the team to just using Christian McCaffrey, I think the Vikings could come out with a victory on that October 17th. Overall, I believe that the additions to the Vikings offensive line with Darisaw and Wyatt Davis, plus the additions to the already, I said stacked, but already kind of well-established defense, will lead to a Vikings victory. I think the Vikings will win. I'll say somewhere in the 34 to 20 point tally, or whatever you want to call it, score. But thank you for everyone for watching. Friday's video will be a deep dive into the Ohio State Buckeyes by popular demand on my Twitter account. Poll, they won by 43%. I think the next closest one was 34%, if I'm not wrong, if I'm just thinking off the top of my head. But again, thank you. And until Friday, thanks for watching. Go Big Red.